Hey level 2 students, welcome back. Today let's talk about media literacy. So I thought that we're not going to have an opportunity to have a class on media literacy, but here we are with a chance to do it. So let's use it. And your objective for today are gonna be you will be able to comprehend media and become aware of how it impacts your everyday life and understand what it means to be media literate or media illiterate. And at the end of this lesson, we'll also be talking about the 5 C's of critical consuming. So now let's get into it. But before we get started, let's try to pause for a second and answer this question. Think about it. How many hours did you spend consuming media today? I mean, today. How many hours did you spend consuming media? I'll wait. I will wait. Think about it. So, how many hours did you come up with? 7 hours, 10 hours? So, there's a poll that says that the average US adult spends up to 10 hours watching TV, listening to the radio, surfing the web, scrolling through the phone, or checking video series on YouTube, or doing unproductive things. Maybe they will be doing productive things with their time, going through the media, but most of the time, what they do is distracted and unproductive, and that's over 40% of their day. And this is according to Jay Smooth. I don't know if you've heard of him. And he said, never before in history have humans spent so many waking hours consuming media. And since it's taking up more and more over time every year, it's important that we understand its influence on everything we do. This day and age, the media has turned into something that it wasn't back in the day. So now let's look at that. Now, what is media? And you might just heard me mention the media. That's okay because there is media and also there is the media. But before we get to the media, let's look at media. What is that? Media is the plural of medium. Medium means a vehicle. A vehicle. A medium is a substance or a method in which something is communicated. It's the vehicle for a message. So we can't say mediums. Instead of saying mediums, we say media. So it's the plural of media. It means multiple mediums, so to speak. Now let's look at what we call the media. The media is everything that creates or distributes information. Now let's look at some types of media. You can pause with it. We have books, films, paintings, songs, all kinds of advertising. And now let's talk about media literacy. So we can say you can say the media, which is all of these means of all of these ways of sharing, spreading information. And you can also say media, which just means a vehicle for a message. Now, what is media literacy? Media literacy is the ability to navigate the media. Media literacy is the ability to access, analyze, evaluate, create, and act using all forms of communication. Now, with this in mind, what I'm going to ask you to do is think back to the media you spent your time with today. What was it? Maybe it was your phone. Maybe you were watching TV, maybe listening to music, maybe you were reading a newspaper. I don't know. Think about what type of media you spent your time with today. And now, what I want you to do is, how did you get to it? What kind of content were you absorbing? How did you access it? How did you get to it? What you're doing is trying to become media literate. You're trying to ask a few questions that will help you become media literate. So the first question to ask yourself is, how did you get access to this type of content that you were exposed to today? The content that you were absorbing, how did you get to it? How did you access it? And when you were exposed to this content, were you making sense of its messages? Now, what you're doing is analyzing. Now let's evaluate. Were you aware that each message was created by someone with their own goals and opinions? This is also something that you can do when you create media yourself. What is your objective? What are you trying to do? What is your goal? What are your opinions? Are you trying to get people to agree with your opinions? Maybe this is what you're trying to do. So people might not evaluate the media you create and get to them, but you have the power to do that. Today you can understand that some people, some messages that you are exposed to are created by other people that have their own goals and own opinions and own agendas. Now let's talk about you creating your message. Now, if you're going to create message, if you're going to create media, like a blog post, like a blog post, like a blog post or an Instagram or something on Facebook or a YouTube video or a broadcast, not broadcast, sorry, or podcast. By the way, guys, you're not going to be able to do your podcast as projects this semester anymore. Instead of creating a podcast, you will have your project at the end of this video. But no more podcasts. Sorry, guys. Okay, now when you create media, what is your responsibility to those who view it? This is another one of the questions that you need to ask yourself to become media literate. Now, act. What is your response? What is your reaction when you're exposed to some type of media? What do you do with the info that you receive? Now, becoming media literate is basically asking this question: what information can I truly trust? Am I exposed to fake news? To develop media literacy skills, now you need to know that this is a skills that not a lot of people have. Very few of us have these skills. You need to think through each of these important questions every time you are interacting with some kind of media. Fake news has become a real issue in recent times. Now, how can we fix this? Teaching students media literacy is a good way to try to fix this because they learn how to consume critically, and then they also learn how to think critically. And with no further ado, let's move right into the 5 C's of critical thinking. What? Sorry guys, this is not the 5 C's of critical thinking. This is a typo. This is the 5 C's of critical consuming. And actually this is a homework assignment. Your assignment will be to tell me to write, let's see, the 5 C's of critical consuming. They are context, credibility, construction, corroboration, compare. So you can choose one of these 2 assignment. You can either do a little research on the 5 C's of critical consuming, or you can do a research on what is the difference between media messages and media effects. So this was kind of an intro to media literacy, which means knowing what you are absorbing in terms of media, being aware of what you are exposed to. Now, we're not the way. Now you will take it from here, and then you will continue the the work. This is why you have this homework to finish. You can choose this one or this one. It's it's up to you to decide. And yeah, this was just a an intro to media literacy. And like I just said, you will take it from here and continue with the research. So guys, this is it. Thank you. The class is over.